Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the Jump Up Supercast. Rankamania is running wild, brother. I'm your host, Will, and joining me today, we're going to go through it fast, because, boy, we got some ranking to do. Moozamil.
Hello.
Brandon.
I'm going to do things my way or the highway.
Noah.
I'm here too.
Saf.
Oh, yeah.
And illz from the Jump Up Supercast Game Club.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I guess snuck in the back door or something.
What is he doing in the impact zone?
New challenger approaching.
illz, we're glad to have you. If you've not listened to the Jump Up Supercast Game Club for the last last one episode actually, illz has joined us on the journey of playing those games once every 2 weeks, I guess would be the proper way to say it. And since illz is making deciding votes on where games go on the list, such as Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, we figured he should... The one game, hey, it's high up on the list though. He should be here to be a vote on the re-ranking episode. Oft discussed, it's been built up for months now. The list is flawed, boys. There are issues with the list. Today is the day that we begin to... It's like the little boy plucking the finger in this dam. We are that. We're trying to plug the leaks that exist in the list because it is canon. So, we're just going to get right to it. Everybody's going to get one game that they can re-rank, that we're going to have the discussion about, see if it actually does get moved, where it gets moved. All that stuff is still to be determined. But due to some backdoor shady deals, Saf is the first man up to bat.
Just to be clear, though, because William always forgets to mention it, you can follow the list in the paste bin in the description. So, you're not like, what the hell are they talking about?
Though,
you can see the list.
Will it be updated with the end of episode rankings?
No, it'll be pre-episode. Don't worry about it.
So no spoilers.
There's no spoilers. There's no spoilers in the paste bin. So you could follow along, okay?
That's going to be some work for me to fix that, but
yeah. Well, just save it now.
Save it now and just...
I'm going to screenshot it now.
Wow, this is terrible podcasting. All right, Saf, go.
Bro, they want to see the behind the scenes. Come on. They feel closer to us.
Yeah, they know we're not perfect.
Regis is upset.
You speak for yourself.
Alright.
Yeah.
This is my turn. Shall I do it?
Yes. Go.
Super Smash Bros. Melee. Put it below Fire Emblem.
Obviously.
Below Fire Emblem? You are high. You are high.
Say where it is.
Wow, Jesus Christ.
You're stupid. You're stupid.
The first one.
Wow.
Going straight for the jugular.
Alright.
You want to drop it 20 spots.
Yes.
I mean, okay. So
That's a good way to start.
That's I'm glad we started with Saf, actually.
Yes.
I'm upset.
So I am part of the reason to blame for why Melee is so high.
Mm-hmm.
It's my greatest accomplishment.
I have played Melee since then, and I've realized, wow, I don't like it as much as I thought I did.
Okay. But let's stop. Let's take a second here and say 22 is stupidly low.
I'm not giving my blessing for any specific spot yet, but I'm just saying it should be lower. I'm part of the reason why it was so high, but I think it should be lower.
It should be above Mario Brothers.
Okay, I think the first thing we should consider is that the other fighting game on the top 20 is Dragon Ball FighterZ, and it definitely should be above that.
It should be above Dragon Ball FighterZ, but the problem is Dragon Ball FighterZ should be lower.
It should be above Super Mario Brothers. It should be above Super Mario Brothers. It should be above Okami HD.
I mean, that would be your choice to fix then in this instance, where you need to rank Dragon Ball Z.
Right now we're focusing on Melee, and we want to bring it down, and down it shall go.
Yeah.
So I think I have a hardline stance. It should be below Super Mario Brothers.
Wow. Okay. Anybody?
That's way lower than I expected it to be.
Okay. I think it should be above Dragon Ball FighterZ, but also Dragon Ball FighterZ is high.
Well, no, see, I would put it above Left 4 Dead 2 is the issue. Man, fuck this list. It's so bad.
Yeah, that's why we're here today. Rankamania.
Because every game above this game is still great games. Like, you're just heading out with the best of the best. But I don't think this matches with the same level of quality with the rest of the games. So that's why I want to put it below Fire Emblem.
I'm climbing up, boys. I'm climbing up, and I'm stopping at 20.
Damn.
This is brutal. This is.
I'm thinking around 25.
So it's going from number 6.
Wait, that was lower than what Zach said.
No.
All right. Here, I'm climbing up. All right, let me climb up for a second here, and I'll tell you where
If you say 30, I'm gonna laugh so hard. I'm gonna die.
Hold up.
I'm just gonna head to bed.
Hold on. I'm stopping at Donkey Kong Country 2, maybe Okami.
Oof.
Yeah, I would. It belongs above Okami. I would at least above Okami. Like, Jesus Christ.
Why does it belong above Okami?
This is like the foundation of why Smash Brothers is what it is. Like, come on.
No. Everything that's good about Smash Brothers was an accident. It wasn't even designed by fucking Sakurai.
What?
Like, everything
As far as
that
I'm
people
concerned-
love about Smash Brothers, the competitive nature of it, wasn't even intended to be part of it.
Okay, well,
I've been
not
muted
really
for a
good
long
game
time, and I have something to say. I want to put it. I agree with Brandon. Okami takes 5 hours to start, and it's all talking you can't skip. Especially in Okami HD, they got rid of the skip option, which is what's on the list. The last 30% of that game is bad. We said it was bad. It's not fun. The second boss, the final boss, the second act is not very fun. Like, these are things. Melee, I get, is not a top 10 game. I will acquiesce to that, but it is above Okami. I'm willing to put it below Donkey Kong Country 2, though.
What? No.
Also, you need to consider the other games.
I'm for putting it
Wait,
in between DKC2 and Okami.
You need to consider the other games, because eventually we're going to put those on the list.
Exactly. What if we move Okami? What about then?
Doesn't matter.
We factor with what we're looking at right now.
What I'm
Find a general area.
Look,
not
Saf
just
made the decision to bring Melee first.
What I'm saying is that the other games in this series, like, we're gonna be
They're
ranking.
not
I feel
on
as
the
though
list.
like there are other games in this particular series that would rank higher than fucking.
But we're not
That
talking
doesn't matter.
about
That
how
doesn't matter.
Melee...
And also, we have a full 15 spots to work with. That, like, spoilers. Smash 4, like, it's going to be above it. I get that. Brawl, there's an argument to make, but like, it's A, they're not there right now, and B, I would say all those games are better than Okami HD. But I think that Melee's better than Okami HD too.
But I don't think Melee's as good as Fire Emblem or Valkyria Chronicles. So
I think it is.
I think it is.
I think it is. You guys
I disagree.
Yeah.
Okay, look, I mean, honestly, I do feel like the game is a bit tougher to play going back to, right? It's like, it's
a bit.
A bit. Let's not act.
a bit.
It does not play poorly. I don't know where this is coming from.
It doesn't play poorly. I'm just
Well,
saying.
no, it doesn't play poorly. My biggest argument, and God willing, I have to remember this argument because it gave me a heart attack when I was having it. But my biggest argument against the game is that, it can be not fun to play in certain scenarios. But it does play well. It's just, if you're playing the wrong people, it can ruin the fun.
Well, but even then, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, genuinely, I went back to it and, like, it feels... I don't know how to describe it, but I didn't like it. So, like...
it's readjusting because it's like people go back to Street Fighter 3 from Street Fighter 5 and they have adjustment periods, right? This just happens with fighting games, especially when, like, they're close enough that your brain can mentally, like, associate them, but, like, they are different enough that you can't quite go back to it as easy as you used to be able to.
Yeah.
Like, I think that Melee still has among the best stage selection of a Smash game. I think the stages are all really good in that game, even including Poke Floats. I think that stuff like the trophies are a big part of what the identity of Smash as a series is even now, and I like them a whole lot. I think that the roster is, like, obviously it's not Smash 4 because you're going to keep expanding, but I think the roster is incredibly cool. I love additions like Game & Watch and Marth and Roy. Like, I think that there's just...
Yeah,
like,
but then they brought us Ganondorf as a Captain Falcon clone. That's a hard
fine.
negative. Hard negative.
That's fine, though.
yeah, but
But, like, no one's making a case for Okami.
No, I mean, look, I think it should be right in between Okami and DKC2. That's, like, exactly where I would put it. And from what I can tell, Brandon agrees.
I agree with that. Even though I don't like where Fire Emblem and Valkyria Chronicles are placed,
Thank you, illz. Jesus. These people are like, oh, Fire Emblem, that hard.
No,
so
but are you saying that both of them
but
are
that's
too low?
unrelated.
I think they're lower than they should be. I think they should be
Amen.
equal at around Okami.
Thank you.
But
yeah.
but that's not the issue right now.
But that's not the issue. Yeah.
And also, I would like to disregard. Well, just talk a little bit about Brandon's point that playing people, sometimes makes it feel bad. I feel like any fighting game can make you feel that way. So
that's true. That is true.
I don't know.
Even Smash 4, like if I'm playing Zero, like I'm gonna lose.
Right, but at least I feel like the newer Smash has gotten more balanced. There's not as
It's a lot
much
more
of
balanced and accessible.
Well, I
don't
just mean that if you're playing somebody super better than you, of course you're gonna get destroyed. But I mean, there's some people who just avoid you all the fucking time to make sure, to wait until the perfect moment to hit you. Because they don't want to lose.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, my main reason with that argument that I had to make it in the first place was because they wanted to put it above Mario Kart 8, and I would not let that happen because I thought Mario Kart 8 was a much more balanced multiplayer game.
Mm-hmm.
But okay,
yeah,
I mean, like,
it happened.
From what I can tell, are we in agreement here? DKC2 in between DKC2 and Okami. I feel that's the perfect spot.
I agree with that.
I agree.
I disagree. Hard disagree.
I disagree.
Well, it's 4 against 2, so we win, baby.
There's 1 to 6.
Wait. Just give them a chance to hear that dissenting opinion.
Yeah.
Where would you guys put it?
Maybe they can change my mind. That's why we're here. Open minds.
That's why we're here.
I mean, I don't know what else to say beyond that. It's a great game, but a lot of it is just not like the way you can. How do I best phrase this? It added a lot more cool stuff, and it actually builds upon the previous games. But I feel the previous game was just Smash Bros. But I feel as though the other 2 games do a lot more for this franchise than this one did. Like, a lot of the design elements for this game were just mistakes. A lot of the things that make this game popular and still played to this day were just all glitches.
No.
So I don't
Bill
think...
Trennan said 2 months ago, if you think that Sakurai made a game by mistake, then you don't know Masahiro Sakurai. And I believe him when he says that.
When
right?
Sakurai makes statements, that he's like, oh, I want this to be more of a party game, or I want this to be more of a family.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can change the direction of the series.
That this game
just quick though, because I didn't
finish.
God damn it.
Go.
When you want to,
Tell me.
When you hear statements or when you read statements where it's like Sakurai wants this to be more casually friendly, more accessible, more party oriented, you can tell or you can reasonably infer that he did not design this game to be as competitive as it is, or like with the elements that people play with this game. So I don't feel as though we can reward that type of game design because that's not what my intended in the first place. My
counter point is that combos were not intended in the Street Fighter 2, right? Like, it's just sometimes things will happen in a game that, like, develops when you give it out to a player base that the developer won't intend, but it becomes part of the identity of the video game in the same way that, like, combos, which are the basis of all fighting games, were a glitch, right? I think that it's fair to just consider that as part of the conversation. And, like, Sakurai, as for the direction of the series, clearly wanted to go more less competitive focused as time went on, that we're sort of seeing a balance of it with Smash Ultimate. But I think that because different entries later on in the series went for different things, I don't think that's a detriment to the place where Melee stands, which is unique among the whole of Smash right now.
But then
you want to talk about uniqueness? No, Okami would blows it out of the water in terms of uniqueness.
Well, no, I mean, but he's comparing it to other Smash games.
But my thing with this whole argument about how it was an accident or whatever, but that's not the reason why we loved Melee in the first place, right? Like you're acting like the only thing Melee has going for it is the competitive scene when it has a lot more going for it. Like Will said, the stage roster I think honestly is the best in the Smash franchise. These single player modes, like Smash 4 you want to compare it to Smash 4? Smash 4 single player modes suck. Melees are pretty good.
Adventure mode's cool.
The whole thing about trophies is it doesn't get stated enough how big of a deal trophies were and how it made Smash into this being about Nintendo fan service, and that all comes from Melee. It's not Melee's sole identity isn't just being this competitive fighting game. Like it has so much more to it, and
But
like
Smash
the
Brothers have
foundation
done
of why
more in
Smash
regards
is what
to
it is.
fan
Not
service than Melee has.
But they're
but
not
this-
on the list. We're not comparing it to those.
But
We're
you
comparing it to
just made
Okami
those
HD.
arguments right there.
We're
no,
comparing
I
it
was
to
just saying
Okami
because
HD.
you started it.
Yeah.
Just like all good children would do.
And like DKC, and like right above it is DKC2, right? Which I feel like is perfect because part of the reason why we say DKC2 should be here is because of how much of a leap it is over the first game, right? I feel like you could say the same damn thing about Melee.
You actually are
About
to DKC2 before.
how I mean, okay, but
You wanna die?
how much of a leap from Smash 64 to Melee? Like it, especially when you think about like it made coming out just 2 years after. It's like that was a pretty big jump. So I don't know.
All right, fine.
Brandon, have you changed? Have you loosened up at all in where you feel it should be?
No, I don't think that argument with it the being a mistake, and I say that in quotation marks, is very good. I think of the potato chip when I think of that, and the potato chip was a mistake, you know? It was, though, because
You're
You know,
not
if
wrong.
you used penicillin, that would have been a better analogy.
No, potato chips are more important to history than penicillin. Come on.
Yeah,
I think we can all
potato
agree
chip
on
was
that.
a mistake.
All right, we'll put it
You know,
above.
but everybody
Okay.
still loves potato chips. So, you know, maybe Melee's, you know, wave dashing and stuff was a mistake, but people still love it.
Mhm.
I also
Although
think.
it's not
Sorry.
my favorite part of the game, I'll tell you that. My
Hang
favorite
on,
part of
hang
the
on,
game is
hang
just that it's really fun. I was in love with this game. I got this game, man, I went to bed at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I
Yeah, but
couldn't
that's
sleep.
like-
So I woke up at 4. Like, I loved it.
But
I
that's
had
like
a lot of fun playing it.
no, but that's like
And
that's
I
an
think-
argument that any fucking child can make for like any game in the
No.
Smash series. It's like, oh, but that's
I
for
think-
Smash Bros.
Well, I
Oh,
also
that's-
played games at the same age that I played for 10 minutes and said, wow, this is horse shit.
Yeah, I mean,
No, but you can-
Melee is the best-selling GameCube game, right? Like, we had this idea that it's for this niche market of people, but it reached literally the biggest market of any game on that console. Like, it hit a lot of people, you know. And I think
And-
that to say that limits
Yeah,
based on
again, but
competitive-
you're talking about sales, and then we're just going to be comparing.
Wait, hold on.
against
Els has
all
been
of
trying to say something for a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Els.
I just wanted to say that I don't think the creator intent argument holds any water. I think we should take the game as it is, not as it was intended to be.
Mhm.
First of all, and second of all, there's a reason why everybody clamors to play with the GameCube controller, even now, that we have to attribute to the Melee game, right?
Well, I mean,
Oh, yeah,
that was
absolutely.
partly
100%.
because the Wiimotes kind of suck.
No, but like you don't see people clamoring to play with the GameCube controller in like Mario Kart or any other, literally any other game on the planet.
Pretty much.
right? Like,
Like, you can-
Yeah, I mean, even like on Wii U, right? Where you have a pro
I played
controller,
Wii
which
U
is
Man, you could start this game with fucking fight sticks, and people would be clamoring for that. Whatever, just it's fine. Just put it below Donkey Kong Country 2. I'm all good.
all right.
I made my argument. It's lower than it
It's better
should
than
be.
nothing.
I'm okay.
I'll take
It's not in the top 10. It's alright.
No, I agree. I really wanted the game to be lower, too.
Yeah.
So, but, I still recognize it as a very, very good game and an important, a game that I love and an important game to gaming.
I think that's very important for all of us. We all recognize it as a really very good game. We just think we have different levels of what is very good.
Well, to be fair, it is the game that brought us together, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yes,
I will
True.
consider that more Brawl than anything, but yeah.
we
Well,
were
I mean-
excited for Brawl because we loved
Exactly.
Melee.
That's
Like
exactly what I was
you
going
would
to say.
you would have zero hype for Brawl.
Well, I don't know. I started my interest in then with Smash Bros. 64, not Melee.
Whatever.
Well,
I mean-
all of us, most
So did
all of us
I,
did.
but
Yeah, so did I, but Melee's like, to me, the gold and silver of Smash.
Yeah.
Mine started
I
with
could
Melee,
definitely
man.
agree to
I
that.
was a young kid.
Okay,
well,
well,
we're
Melee
all
has
good.
moved down from number 6 to number 14.
I would say from
Could have been worse. When Sal said 23, I was terrified.
I feel like Will and Muzzy made good arguments for that one.
Thank you.
Thank you. For number, okay, so I guess it comes to me next, right?
Yes. You are
And
next, Will.
this is a weird one. See, I wanna help things. I wanna move them up, but I wanna move a bunch of things up by moving a thing down, as my perspective. So, so this is a game that I respect, but we don't talk about it. I think a lot because I don't know. I want to move Cave Story down.
No.
Ooh.
No.
This is not an attack on Saf, though it looks like it might be after what just happened.
Direct retaliation.
It's just that I want to move it down 5 or so spots. I want to put it around the wonderful 101 Drill Dozer territory because I think that's where it'll live more comfortably. I think that Valkyria Chronicles Remastered and Fire Emblem Awakening and Animal Crossing are all undeniable, really cool, unique games. And Cave Story, while it was, I would say has aged the worst out of all of them, which is why I would move it down.
See, that's interesting because of all I didn't expect Cave Story. That never got brought up.
I think because it didn't get brought up.
Cave Story hasn't aged terribly. It still plays fine.
Cave Story has aged well, but I think we can say, right, that part of the reason it has such critical acclaim is because it was one of the first to do what it did, right?
Yes.
It's one of the first, you could probably say it's one of the first indie games, right, to really hit big. If it came out in 2018, I don't think it would have nearly as much notoriety as it does, which specifically to Saf, because Saf's always the one who's legacy doesn't matter.
You would say that, but then you've just ranked Melee that high based on legacy, so
I know
you can't really make that argument.
I'm just saying,
I just rank it on legacy.
We didn't rank it
You
on
did.
legacy.
That was
The
the
way
main
you
crux of the
rank
argument.
games,
you did mention that it was the best-selling game.
And that it made everything.
We're saying that people.
okay, well, that was
We
an
can't let me leave. We can't let me leave this
What I'm
entire
saying is that you're
episode.
not being consistent in your arguments here. That's my main crux of this.
I don't have to
You're
be.
not being very consistent at all.
No, I think he only brought it up because you guys were saying that, mentioning nobody likes it.
Or that-
it must be only
What
us.
the fuck said that?
Or you're also
Yeah,
talking
I'm
about
sorry.
future games instead of this game, which
Right,
is
yeah.
we kind of had to talk about why that game was important rather than why the obviously probably better than every other game that came out after it. Also always has more characters, more stages, blah blah blah.
And I think just to be clear, Brandon and I have been pretty consistent in saying we do think it matters, right? To an extent, that's not the sole thing.
Yeah, I do think it
Gameplay's
does
always been
matter
number
a little
one,
bit.
but legacy does matter a little bit. But I'm just saying, Saf and Noah, who have a hardline stance against, it shouldn't matter in this list at all. Well,
I never. Okay. Now you have to set something fucking straight.
I'm pulling
I never
you up
said
for
it
your
didn't
shit.
matter
Doesn't
at
mean-
all. I said you
Remember
guys
Cave Story?
overvalue legacy
Okay,
too
so
much.
anyway,
I'm
Cave
pulling you up
Story.
on
So
your
Cave
shit,
Story,
doesn't
I
mean-
don't think, I don't think Cave Story is particularly noteworthy in this day and age. I really don't. I think that, for example, in this genre, as a Metroidvania, I think Hollow Knight's way better. There's a lot of games in that same genre that have surpassed Cave Story.
And also,
Yeah,
I just think
well-
Valkyria Chronicles and Fire Emblem Awakening and Animal Crossing are all really good.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
my thing too. Is forget about saying, well, games have been better than that. Sure, but those games are on the list. It's
Valkyria
just looking
Chronicles
at-
and Fire
it's
Emblem.
a weird thing that Cave Story for some reason, and I'm glad Will brought it up because I just glaze over it. I don't know how or why, but looking at it, and looking at the games that are under it, I'm like, what? What the fuck? How? And I actually agree. I think Cave Story should honestly be
I would bump it down to
somewhere
below
around
Stardew
Limbo.
Valley. Yeah.
Wait, what? Where?
somewhere around
Right.
Limbo, Stardew Valley. That kind of
that's
area.
way too low. With a
I would
a
put
game
it-
like that, that's
Limbo's a really good
Stardew
game.
Valley.
the game is a lot of fun. It
Cave
has
Story's
a lot
really
of
good,
great
but
music to it. It's got interesting story, and it's a lot of fun characters. There's a lot of unique, cool designs and styles to this game that you're giving it very zero
So
credit
is
over.
Zombies Ate My Neighbors, but that's down that low. I have a lot of good things to say about a lot of these games. But my personal feelings about Cave Story when compared to, I guess, Super Mario 3D Land, even Luigi's Mansion, I think those games are honestly better than it.
Yeah, even just as a straight up platformer, I think 3D Land's a better platformer.
yeah.
That's a 3D platformer.
I mean,
So I haven't played much of K-Story, but what I remember from it, it's it was very fun in general. It's a pretty fun game, fast paced.
quick, it's punchy, it's got a lot of neat little secrets,
I can't really
and it encourages experimentation. Like, I feel as though... I mean, if you want to rank it lower, fine, but I wouldn't rank it as low as fucking Limbo. There's no way, because it's still...
I mean, I would put it above Limbo, don't get me wrong.
I'd put it above Limbo.
Yeah, I'd put it above Limbo.
Let me make an argument for why it should be below Stardew Valley. Okay? Stardew Valley notoriously is as low as it is, once again, because of me. But Stardew Valley is basically the best in its genre. I really strongly feel that way.
Yes.
I don't, but that's another argument.
And you know, you want to talk about the charm and its characters? Stardew Valley is that in spades. You know, like that game is just oozing with charm. So I don't know. Like my thing is especially because like Cave Story doesn't. I mean, for sure, I put it like Valkyria Chronicles, Fire Emblem, and Animal Crossing. Those are the main three I would definitely put it below.
Yeah.
The Wonderful 101, I personally feel it's better, but like I know you guys have a little bit more mixed feelings on that game. And then it comes down to like I've never played Drill Dozer, and then Elite Beat Agents and Luigi's Mansion. I don't know. It's just like all these games I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, they're really, really good. I love Cave Story, don't get me wrong, that's also really, really good. But it just I feel like those games should be above it. I don't know. Right below Stardew Valley is like my sweet spot, honestly.
I mean, that's the problem. That's going to be down to personal preference, because you're right in that Stardew Valley has a lot of charm in it, but it's a very slow grind when it comes to playing that game. Like you need to. I'm so glad it's on a portable, because there's no way I could spend hours just doing the farming stuff and just chatting to the NPCs.
You just don't like the genre.
If I had to watch,
and that's his personal opinion. That's fine.
But I feel as though this is like
were...
it still does the charm really well. It still has a lot of fun to it. It's peppy, it's quick, and it's incredibly unique in a lot of its elements in the platforming game.
Which game are we talking about?
The Cave Story.
Oh, Cave Story. Yeah. Okay, you said because everything you just said could be applied to...
All right, so what does everybody else think?
Yeah.
Well,
where is everybody else at?
For me, I mean, I am inclined to, I'm thinking around the same area. I already said I think it should be around that area. But I think, honestly, and you guys keep saying it's incredibly unique for both of these games. And sure, there's things that they do that are unique. But let's not forget they're both kind of... borrowing ideas from other games.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So while they build upon other games, they're not as unique, I feel like.
I never said the word.
Yeah, I'm saying a lot of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, both of these games are a derivative of another game, a game or a game series, and tried to just do their own thing and, either try to perfect it or, kind of take it a different direction. And they're both very good.
I mean, I will say, like, Stardew Valley is, like, extremely derivative of Harvest Moon, right?
Well, yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean, it was designed to be...
And it was, essentially, it was made as a, hey, Harvest Moon's not really good anymore, let's make a proper sequel to it, right? Like, that's basically the mission statement for that game. And that's fine.
If I were to lodge a gameplay complaint against Cave Story, I think that the level design falls off on the last third of the game. And especially on the the egg level... especially, it becomes a bullet hell, but like because of the way the game is designed, it really sort of like is not fun in those in the final stretch.
Like the secret end, like the actual difficult secret ending?
Yeah. That's and I think that while there is the biggest thing the game does to evolve is give you different types of guns that can upgrade, but really by around the 60% mark, it's giving you a lot of the ideas that it has. And I think that even though it's a relatively short game, it does overstay its welcome a little bit, where I think that Stardew Valley is obviously a game that goes forever, so it's an apples and oranges thing. But if I were to level a complaint against the platformer design of Cave Story, it would be that.
So would you say that you would place it below Stardew Valley?
Probably, yeah.
All right, that sounds like 3 people.
What about Noah?
See, again, I only know very little of
Cave Story.
Cave Story, so I know a lot more about Stardew Valley, and I definitely can say I like Stardew Valley more, and I agree that it's more it's just a better overall package than Cave Story. So I'll put it above Limbo though.
Yeah, I agree above Limbo.
Oh, okay,
I honestly
sorry.
haven't played either game, so I have nowhere to go on that. I played Limbo. I like Limbo a lot, but you guys are shitting all over it, so whatever.
No, it's a great game.
No, it's like
Shitting all over Limbo.
Limbo's just, it's a great game, but it's like a short experience. And while it's a cool experience, it's it's shallow altogether.
You're shallow.
You're not wrong. Definitely not wrong about that.
Okay, so I think that sounds like we've decided. So Cave Story Plus has moved from number 20 all the way down to number 28.
Mm-hmm.
Not too much.
29.
Not as big as a hit as it really took.
Oh, sorry, 29. My bad. And just like all these 20s are pretty similar quality. Let's be honest. Like, I think
Disagree. Hard disagree.
Well, okay. Fire Emblem and Valkyria Chronicles, I feel should be way.
And Wonderful 101.
Yeah, but like we're alone on that one, illz. All these guys are like, oh, the controls are bad.
It takes bravery to be right in front of.
Takes bravery.
In the midst of such wrongness, it takes bravery to stand up.
That's what I'm gonna start saying when everyone's usually against me.
But you're usually wrong, so.
That's a limiting factor.
All right, well, it is my turn to rank. And you know what? See, I would want to pick Fire Emblem Awakening, but I really don't trust you guys, is the problem.
I'm here! Tag me in!
Now hold on. The situation is...
I haven't
picked the game yet. I haven't picked the game. I'm gonna go ahead and go with an obvious one, something that needs to be moved down. Dragon Ball Fighters. Like, I don't want to say I told you so, but I fucking told you so. All right? Because
it was a very different list when it got added. We were only at like 5 games.
No. I told you it was overrated from the beginning.
I genuinely thought you were going to go for Left 4 Dead. I was like, not another SAF game. Not another
Fuck, okay.
No. That's a losing argument, probably.
See, you ruined my dream. My dream was that we were all going to skip around Dragon Ball Fighters and hope
assuming someone else would pick it.
Yeah. Nobody would pick it. That was the dream. That was the right now.
No, I've sacrificed my pick for the greater good. Okay, Dragon Ball Fighters needs to be way lower. To be honest,
I would say way
lower.
I think it should go up.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, I want it to be where Melee was. So number 6. Number 6.
Yeah.
Guys, hold on, really fast. We messed something up. By moving Melee down, Octopath is no longer at number 8. It's at number 7. We screwed it up.
Fuck Octopath.
No. Anyway, Dragon Ball Fighters. Looking at this list, I would put it. To be honest, right around where Limbo is. Maybe above, maybe below. But look, Dragon Ball Fighters is a very pretty game. That's all it has going for it.
No.
Hold on.
Burn in hell.
Go ahead. Let him finish.
Dragon Ball Fighters, playing through the single player is a fucking chore. Probably worse than any fighting game I've ever played in my life. Okay,
What
like that.
Damn.
That single player.
You brought up the
That is
chicken.
Big statement.
Has he played 2 fighting games in this?
That story mode was a fucking drag.
Smash 4 has worse single player than
it. I wanted to claw my eyes out, okay? Because the story cutscenes, while very pretty, weren't actually, because the backgrounds look disgusting, number 1. And number 2, extremely slow and stilted cutscenes. I just wanted to move the fuck
You did it
on.
like Android 21.
No, not at all. And the story was stupid. Let's be honest with ourselves.
What?
It was a pretty stupid
fine.
story.
It was serviceable.
It was,
Welcome to Dragon
don't
Ball
care.
Z.
But okay, you say it's a fighting game, and you say welcome to Dragon Ball Z. But if it's such a shitty story, why are they putting it in my face for so fucking long?
They did
Because that's what the people love.
You literally only unlock Android 21. That's all.
And let's talk about this really ridiculous unlock requirements for Android 21 Blue Vegeta
that
and
is
Blue
insane.
Goku. It takes fucking forever to unlock them in a very not fun way. I am not having fun trying to unlock those characters. Like,
Bitch, you did not have to unlock it.
You did not. You definitely pre-ordered.
Don't
we know
start
you did.
that.
hold on.
Calling you
but
out.
I played the modes that require you to unlock the characters. Okay? And anyway, as I was saying, the gameplay, it's pretty good. Okay?
What happened to wait? What happened to that game mode thing you were just about to say something about?
It was just a chore. Just unlocking the characters is a chore. Is my main thing. But the gameplay is pretty good. I feel like you guys really overstate how good it is, but it's pretty good. And I don't know, like the main thing this game has going for it is its art style. Granted, it's an incredible art style, but I don't know.
Booze?
Cave Story Plus should be below Cave Story Plus.
You made the
I
incredible
don't know.
thing where I was willing to agree with you, and now I agree with you less.
Wow, how did you do that? It's impressive.
I don't know. No,
I want to say some good things about Dragon Ball Fighters, which I think a lot of you will agree with.
Please do.
Where it's like, first and foremost, it oozes with fan service. Like, it.
Yes, like that game was seriously just created to please the fans.
But it's just the
From
art style
raising
alone.
It's
art
not-
style
no.
to the characters.
It's everything from the moveset, it's everything from the different.
The
Yeah,
roster
everything.
is disappointing. The roster
Alright,
is
alright.
disappointing.
Let me
Oh,
just
it's
finish
not
real
that
quick.
bad.
Alright, wait,
There's
wait.
like 7 million Gokus.
There's
No, bitch, have you played Xenoverse? I'll kill you.
That's right. So, the roster, the moveset's amazing. Like, everything about it is fan service. Even when you, like, fight each other, you do specific styles or specific movesets, you combine with them, and you get, I don't think it's dramatic finishes or cinematic finishes. A special type of finish where they actually play out a scene from one of the actual anime episodes, and it's
From the anime.
really, really well done. It's beautifully animated. It's really, really,
and also,
yeah,
Oh, sorry, go
it's
ahead,
really,
sorry.
really beautifully animated, and it actually does change some of the game as well. Like when you blow up Namek and you get into this barren wasteland, where it's like, oh shit, that actually happened in the anime. It's a nice touch to it. So I feel as though like they've done a lot to please the fans, and they've done a lot for the fans when it came to this game, which barely any other Dragon Ball Z game. Well, they've tried, but they have failed to do.
And on the merits of the game itself, I would argue, right? Removing the Dragon Ball parts of it, which are important, I think that they should be considered when talking about this game. I think that Arc System Works is a company that has made games for a very long time. I think that while, I'm sure that there are people that are heavy in the FGC that will say, like, Guilty Gear has more systems going on. I think that Dragon Ball FighterZ has just the right amount of systems overall for it to be both a game that has depth to it, to the general combat of it, but also to not be like to gatekeep you, right? You can go into Dragon Ball FighterZ and feel like you are being cool, you are being Goku, you're doing all these things that are enjoyable, but also, it has the most entrants of any game at EVO this year. There's clearly a response to the actual gameplay of this game. Things like the Dragon Burst system is a really good evolution of the burst system that's existed in fighting games for a very long time. Meter management, the tag system, I think, is very well implemented. Just as a fighting game itself, I think it also stands to bear with a lot of its contemporaries in a way that you are writing off.
All right. We've all spent 5 minutes here cutting down Muzzy's arguments, but where do you think it should go?
I'm cool with putting it way lower, but I think that might be too low.
Like where?
But where? Give me a spot.
I don't know, maybe around Luigi's Mansion, maybe a little bit higher than that.
Yeah, I was thinking a little bit below Luigi's Mansion, like 27, like right
That's
above
like-
3D Land.
2 spots from what he said.
Okay, you have to understand, much like with Musamil, with everything else, it's the presentation. This game only has the graphics going for it. It's the worst game I've ever played. That stuff's not true. It's not true. But
I was gonna put it below Animal Crossing.
Oh,
Oh
man.
man.
It should be below. No. Like Elite Beat Agents and Luigi's Mansion. At least Luigi's Mansion.
It's a better game.
Okay,
than
I'll
Elite Beat
I'll
Agents.
side with
It's
Brandon
not.
on this one.
It's not.
Whoa. All right, Noah,
boys.
you're up. Where would you put it, Noah?
No, I want you to
wouldn't
think
mind
deeply
putting
about
it-
Luigi's Mansion.
It's just Luigi's Mansion's too low.
That's
the problem.
I want you to think deeply about Luigi's Mansion and what a special game that is.
Nah, even though I'm not super I love Dragon Ball, obviously not as much as Brandon or some of my other friends, but I could definitely appreciate what the developers made for his fans. It was a true gift for them. Out of all the Dragon Ball games that they've made, that have existed in the past, I think Dragon Ball Z Fighters is one of the best Dragon Ball games out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to give them credit where credit is due, even if I didn't really play the game as much as other people have. So I'm willing to put it. I'm willing to put it where Brandon said he put it, below Animal Crossing.
Damn.
At least
Damn.
the Wonderful 101. Come on, just
Okay, so hear me out, boys.
I mean, okay.
Wait, so
Yeah, let
where's
Will
Saf
talk.
at right now?
I don't want to talk to piss you guys off. We'll talk.
You're with Brandon? Okay, so I can make it a 4 if we're willing to put it above Elite Beat Agents but below Drill Dozer.
But I think it's better than Drill Dozer.
And probably better than Drill Dozer, or we want to see the thing.
How about right underneath the Wonderful 101 then?
I'm cool with that.
Dragon Ball Fighters is such, and Will touched upon it already, so I didn't want to retouch upon it. But I think the best argument for this game, besides Muzzy can say, well, it's just the art style and that's it. But it really is a very fun, inaccessible fighting game. I suck at fighting games, and I'll be the first person to admit it, but I had a blast playing this game.
Sorry.
And
Yeah.
I blow at fighting games. You can be mediocre and whip the shit out of it.
Sorry, I just realized.
All right,
I
enough
just
about
realized
your-
I agreed with Brandon saying that is true when he said that I suck at fighting games.
Yeah, what was that?
No, you're right.
Oh yeah, you really do suck at fighting games.
No, you're totally right. That's
Fine. I mean, I do though. It's not a thing that I'm afraid to admit. And I try. I try my best. But a lot of them are really complicated, and it's hard for me to understand. I love fighting games. I love to watch them. I love the art style in a lot of them. I just really am bad at playing them. But this was one of those games that I felt maybe I'm pretty decent at this game. And then I played online, and I realized I wasn't. But still playing it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it that.
Yeah, accessibility is a big factor as well in this, and Brandon's totally right about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, very accessible fighting game.
So okay. The Wonderful 101, I guess, I'm willing to give it to you guys, I guess. For me, personally, I think it's better than the Wonderful 101. That's another game maybe I suck at. I hate the controls. I love everything about that game other than the controls.
I think that Moose didn't mention that I think is a big knock against this game. It is still incredibly hard to play against a friend online.
Yes.
I will agree with that. That is one of the worst things about this game.
Oh, I forgot about that.
as well.
I'm so traumatized.
Online functionality in this game is fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Which is pretty important for a multiplayer heavy game, let's be honest.
Yes. Which is why I would put I think that but Wonderful 101's controls I think can be overcome with time. You can come to be really good at them.
Yeah, if you watch a 30-minute YouTube video.
Yeah,
I
but
didn't
you
need that
cannot
shit.
overcome the bad online system. There's no way to go to make it easier to play with
I'm on
friends.
the edge
So
between
system.
above
that
or below
statement
Wonderful
just-
101. I could go either or.
I'm going to say below. It's, Wonderful 101's just shitting
Yes.
out personality everywhere. The game is so
Such a great story. God.
I could put it below Wonderful 101.
Alright, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I could too.
cool.
I guess we're settled.
So we have settled. So it's moving down from number 17 to number 23.
That's like 6 places. Damn.
Do you think anything will move up? We've moved a lot of things down. I'm
Well,
curious to see.
By moving things down, we've moved a lot of things up.
Don't worry.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is Brandon's turn. Brandon.
Yeah, by moving things, a lot of things down, we're also moving.
We're moving. A lot of things
So-
are going up in the process.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
And in that, Boy, oh boy.
Oh god.
There's a couple games looking at the top of the list that I say,
Phoenix
moving
Wright.
things up. These games really shouldn't be this high.
Phoenix Wright.
What's going on? So, here's the thing, guys.
Okay.
And this is... I'm about to
Oh,
drop
shit.
a bomb.
Oh boy.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I think we should move Danganronpa.
What?
Holy shit!
Your own game?
There.
Who does that?
Holy...
I'm blinking a lot. There's a lot of blinking going on
Danganronpa.
right now.
Where do you want to move?
Am I talking to
Where
Brandon
do you want to
right
move it?
now? Holy
Wait,
shit.
is he moving it up?
No.
Here's the thing.
He's moving it up.
I don't want to move it up.
Okay.
I want to move it down. The reason why I put it where I put it, and I guess, was to prove a point about how I thought Phoenix Wright was too high,
Uh-huh.
but everybody agreed.
Yeah. Brandon, just move Phoenix Wright, please.
No.
Well, if I move Phoenix Wright, then Danganronpa's still
Wait a
It's
where
right.
it is. And that's still a problem in my eyes. And I don't, I feel bad because people are going to look at me and say, Brandon, you dumb idiot. You put Danganronpa so fucking high on the list, you stupid dumbass. And, it's partially my fault.
Like,
you know?
Brandon's the only one willing to correct his own mistakes.
So,
I
yeah,
applaud
I'm righting
that.
my own
I haven't
wrongs
messed up.
here
That's the problem.
in hopes that maybe Phoenix Wright will get moved down. Who knows? Maybe it won't. I doubt it will because nobody's going to waste their pick at this
See, I was
point.
really hoping
think
you would. I was hoping you would do Phoenix Wright.
Phoenix Wright should move down, but Danganronpa is only as high as it is because Phoenix Wright is so
I was genuinely in the
I'm
belief that
writing
you
my
would
own
actually.
wrongs.
I can
So,
appreciate what
okay.
he's trying to fix.
Wh-
I can
where-
appreciate
I thought you were going to pick. Phoenix
Where
Wright.
would you put Danganronpa?
Okay.
Oh,
I would
God.
put Danganronpa.
I feel bad.
I would put Danganronpa below Fire Emblem Awakening.
Whoa!
Hard agree.
Whoa.
Hard agree.
That's
I have never agreed with someone so much as this
I
right
was
now.
not expecting that much of a jump.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Huge.
That is a big jump.
I thought he was going to say below Ghost Trick or something.
Ghost Trick is
Ghost
getting
Trick-
away like a thief right now.
Yeah.
Ghost Trick is too high.
Yeah.
It's getting away like a thief.
He's got a target on his back, don't worry.
Leave Ghost Trick
Yeah.
alone.
Okay, so
You know what? It should be above Ghost Trick.
God damn it. God damn it. Okay. Well,
But Ghost Trick, for the record, is also too high.
Yes.
But Brandon, I know. See, the thing is, I wanted to move Phoenix Wright so we could put Phoenix Wright 3 in its
Actually, you
spot.
know what? I'm going to be the bigger person here. It should be below Fire Emblem Awakening. Because you know what? I ran into this problem with fucking Phoenix Wright. I fucked it up the first time. I'm not making that mistake again. Hopefully you guys will do the right
I'm so
thing eventually.
confused.
Ghost Trick is too high. And I'm not playing this game. I'm going to put it... I think it goes below Fire Emblem Awakening.
Playing for keeps.
Okay.
Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire Emblem Awakening is criminally
Wait,
underrated.
does
on
anyone
this list.
disagree with where Brandon placed it? Just fucking. Does anyone disagree? Does anyone agree?
Never played it. I have no idea.
Really, I played it. I don't have super strong feelings to it, so I think it's a decent spot.
It's one of the best, if not the best, visual novel I've ever played in my life.
Definitely one
and
of
I
the
would
best
argue it
series.
I would argue it above every other visual novel on this list, but they're too high. And
Here's the deal. Here's
Damn.
the situation. How many weeks is it till the next re-rank?
A
a
year?
lot.
Like a year.
Not even a year.
No, not less than a year, but
No, it's less.
Like
than
30
Yeah.
weeks or something.
Whatever it is.
Yeah,
Brandon-
I mean, the thing is, I'm willing to do that. The problem was that literally Danganronpa and only was ever compared to Phoenix Wright. It was never compared to anything else when we were
Yeah.
looking at the list.
Yeah.
and I'm surprised I had the power to trick you guys into overlooking everything else and getting.
Yeah, these are your guys' faults.
You're shooting yourself in the foot. Just move Phoenix Wright. Good.
Well, no,
He's
because I feel like I
chosen.
have to right or wrong here.
Yeah.
Trials and
No, Brand,
tribulations.
I appreciate you being the bigger man, Brandon, because we're all like, I'm fixing you fuckers' mistakes. Brandon's here like, I need to atone for
okay.
my sins.
No, I don't respect it, Brandon.
And I respect it, Brandon.
No,
I respect
and
it.
I'm the god in Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon versus Shawn Michaels and God.
I'm so confused on what that means.
Yeah,
I
I
know
have
what you're
no
talking
idea what
about.
that means.
I know what you're talking about, and I'm confused.
Okay, so
All right,
I don't even know what it means.
is there any
I just wanted to
disagreements
call
to
myself.
putting
No, we're
it
cool with
below Fire Emblem Awakening?
we have 4. I think.
Is there no arguments to be made? I mean, can we? Are we comparing? Where the fuck did I put it? But I think it's better than.
Okay.
I mean,
Hear
I
me
think
enjoyed
it's
the
better
story
than
more
Animal Crossing.
in
Goddamn.
Danganronpa than Fire Emblem Awakening.
Hear me out. Fire Emblem has Naui.
Yo,
Fire Emblem has Naui, so we put it above Fire Emblem. I don't
No,
mean
you're
that.
making me like Fire.
I don't mean that.
Fire
I don't
Emblem
mean
has
that.
Naui is
Brandon,
a plus.
you don't
Well, I don't know
wanna
what
see-
you're getting at here.
For the record, we're a very pro Naui podcast.
I
Wowie.
don't give a shit about now.
Wowie.
Proud.
I don't give a shit about now either way. To be fair,
Fire Emblem. Yeah. Well, I
I
all
enjoy.
agree.
Here's the thing: like, I enjoy the story more than Fire Emblem Awakening, but I didn't enjoy playing it more than Fire Emblem Awakening.
that's the
Yeah.
thing. Same. It's
Yeah.
Danganronpa has an incredible story to be told, and as do a lot of visual novels. But the thing about visual novels is that they're very basic in their
Yeah.
gameplay, and a lot of these games just have really good gameplay. It's a lot of fun, and visual novels, are going to take a hit, in my opinion, in terms of this list just because of that.
I don't
'Cause
know.
we're talking about games, and games. When I think of a game, I think of the gameplay, and sure, it's fun. It's telling me a good story, but
Well, you're pushing
I mean-
me against your argument, to be honest, because for what Danganronpa sets out to do, it does it in spades.
I mean, yeah,
You know?
because we just shrugged off the single player of Dragon Ball Fighters because that's not the focus of the game, right? I think that you can just admit that a game has focuses that it aims to do and doesn't do.
Yeah.
And so it's saying the gameplay of a visual novel is going to be worse than a strategy game is of course right because it's a visual novel. But I mean, like I said, I'm still cool with it below.
Is the complete
wanna
package
value the
of one better than the
experience.
complete package of the other?
Yes.
But it's just driving me nuts because to me, Danganronpa is one of the best visual novels of all time because it has the visual novel, but it also has a lot of extra gameplay elements that some visual novels don't.
What if I say I want to put it below Punch Out?
No.
It needs to be below Fire. If we're putting it that low, it has to be below Fire Emblem Awakening. That's
Yeah, if we're already that
hardline
far,
stance
then
on
we
that.
need to do.
I mean,
put
do
it
we need
above
to do
Valkyria.
it, or
It should.
like?
I don't know. I'm
is it
feeling
really
what
a need
Brandon's
to just
saying.
put it even further if we were actually putting it down low?
No,
if we
but
think that it's better, if we think that it's worse than Valkyria Chronicles and Fire Emblem, then yes, which I think it is.
because Valkyria Chronicles and Fire Emblem Awakening are incredible experiences.
Okay, that's right.
I think maybe it's better than Valkyria Chronicles, but I don't think it's better than Fire Emblem. That's besides the point.
All right, so it's going to be 4 against 1 then in that instance, unless anyone
Yeah.
wants to agree or disagree. But yeah, okay, below. There's nothing saying. There's not.
So
I don't know who's
Danganronpa-
arguing for what right now because I think we all sort of agreed and then
Yeah.
we started
We just-
arguing.
I just want to push it up a little
Danganronpa
bit.
is going from number 8 to number 20.
Yeesh.
Well, I think the conversation should.
I think that's the biggest jump so far.
I feel like I just outed my kid for being a bully at school, and now he's disappointed in me. but I also did the right thing because I was like, "Stop being a fucking bully." Yeah,
But then Phoenix Wright is still being a bully and he's even worse.
All right. Well,
yeah, but it's also not my
All right.
kid, so I.
Saf.
well, it is now Noah's turn. Noah,
Okay.
you are picking
Alright.
a game to
All right,
rewatch.
we have to shift from the top of the list. We have to go down to the bottom, guys.
Scrolling down.
Damn.
Scrolling.
Okay.
Where are we
I
going?
want to
Noah?
move Metroid Other M.
I knew it was
Oh
gonna
my
happen.
god!
Oh my
Why is this-
fucking god!
You always
Okay.
pick this game.
This game is the bane of my existence. I swear to God. All right, Noah, make your argument before I start making mine.
Where do you want it? Oh, sorry.
When I played this fucking game, right, I hadn't played Super Metroid yet. I hadn't played Fusion. I only had Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2 under my belt. So when I started playing Other M, I didn't have a really outrageous expectations of it being a really good game, okay? So when I played it, I enjoyed it. I had a really good time. It has fun gameplay, really, really fun experience. Yes, there are a few things that are off with it, like the voice acting. But in terms of the story itself, it was decent at best.
Holy
Okay?
shit.
It wasn't absolutely horrible like everybody fucking makes it.
Holy
Everybody shits on this game so much because it wasn't as good as their favorite fucking Metroid games. All right? So I feel like it's a very unfair spot for it to be that low on this list. And I want to bring it up to at least number 40. 40? 41? Around there.
Okay. Can I go first, guys, in terms of talking about other M? If you don't mind.
I want to do a quick retort. A quick one.
Okay, Saf,
where
go.
it's like when he says everyone hates the story, and it's like I feel as though like the story with Samus is like the perfect way to assassinate what is already established as a good character. And I like everything that was
hard agree.
So that's a quick retort. Do your thing.
Well, to be fair, Samus didn't really have a character before that game.
Exactly. She was a fucking silent protagonist.
I mean,
they finally gave
So we had 20 years to give a story to this character, and we gave her an awful one.
No.
You like her less by the end.
Things, though. You can infer certain things from the type of games that she plays.
If you infer them, that's up to the player. That's not the creator's intent.
No, there's official materials about Metro. Let's not pretend like it's not.
But also, like, imagine if we had a game where Mario suddenly started talking, and Mario was like an asshole and started swearing. It was a PTSD victim and lost all his agency. You would be mad at that story.
Was it that bad? Was it as bad as
how
that?
bad the story actually is?
Ridley 4 or 5 times already. The last thing you would expect Samus to do when she faces Ridley in Metroid Other M is fucking cry like a child, actually become a child, and just quiver in fear. Like, that doesn't make any sense. She's already fought him before.
Well, I don't know. If you've killed a monster, I don't know, 2 or 3 times, wouldn't you be fucking shocked that he's back again?
Shock. It was genuine fear. They literally put it in there.
I mean, it showed her flashing back
somebody who's been revived for a fucking 5th time? That's coming straightly for you to get revenge for you because you killed it multiple times?
I played every other Metroid game but this game, so I tried my best. No, I don't know.
That's what I mean. You guys are mostly focusing on the story.
That's complete horseshit. Because hold on. No. Now I have to jump in.
Yeah.
No. Okay, Metroid Other M. There's this myth that is spread by certain people in this room and certain defenders of this game. Okay. That, the story may be a dumpster fire and it completely ruined the characterization of Samus, which it totally did. But besides that, the gameplay is great. No, it is fucking not great, okay? Like, this...
I don't think has ever said that this gameplay is great, but alright.
I'm pretty sure Noah said those exact words right now.
It is fun.
It is not. Like,
Jesus
okay,
Christ.
let's talk about the gameplay.
I mean. It's like,
okay, let us talk about the gameplay. First of all, it's linear as fuck, right? Which, if you're playing a Metroid game, there's a certain expectation of, you want exploration.
This is exactly what I mean.
But okay,
I've had too many expectations.
Sure, but no.
It's ruined your experience, and that's completely unfair.
No.
Because they were trying something new and innovative, and they didn't.
But we docked like Sticker Star for that.
Let's hear his full argument first. Shoot.
This game controls like shit. Okay, it should have been controlled with a nunchuck. The game needs a nunchuck because switching from the 2D sideways Wiimote to the vertical Wiimote is clunky. It is not a good mechanic. It completely ruins the flow of things. What were they thinking when they decided that was going to be the control scheme? We like to rail on controls a lot here. That's a big knock against the game, And the other aspect of that makes it suffer is that navigating a 3D space with a D-pad where you have 8-directional movement is not fun, especially when you're actively having to dodge enemies. It just makes the combat less fun. A 3D game... A game that has 3D movement should not be controlled with the D-pad. Like, straight up. That is asinine.
Mario 64 solved that when the N64 happened.
And it's not even like they couldn't do it, because literally the console comes with a peripheral that would have solved all of these issues.
All right.
But
he's only asking to move it up 5 spaces.
Yeah, but
it should not be about
good. East is a good game. Crash Bandicoot's a good game. The Simpsons Arcade, these are all games that are flawed. Right, they're short. Maybe they're not great, but they don't have these big detrimental parts to them that are removed from the story that are also in the gameplay. But the story does factor in,
and we should factor in the story. Yeah, and especially when you factor that part in, it's like Metroid Other M absolutely deserves to where it is, you're lucky I don't want to put it below Nat.
All right.
Can I make a case? I haven't been able to say anything really, because I don't hate Metroid Other M. So, and I'm very indifferent about Metroid Other M.
I feel like he's outing himself.
I don't like Metroid Other M.
I like how I'm forgetting this part.
The thing is, I think it should be above Donkey Konga, but that's it.
Wait, no, did you want?
I think
Donkey Konga is fucking dumb.
I can't believe we're relegitimating this argument. But Donkey Konga,
Here we are.
Donkey Konga, for what it sets out to be, it's great. Okay.
I don't even think it's great. It's kind of dumb
It
and shallow and boring and stupid.
It's a fun game about hitting bongos. I'm into
It's not
it.
that fun.
It's pretty fun.
There were
It's
no
pretty
moments
fun.
I was as mad at Donkey Konga as I was mad at moments in Metroid Other M, both when I'm playing it, because the other thing about the Ridley boss fight that people don't talk about is that the boss fight's also not fun. Like, it's also, like, fighting Ridley's just not enjoyable. That's
Correct.
the other secret of it,
Man,
right? So,
Go ahead.
no, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, man, you guys have played a lot of shit games. Like, why would you play Donkey Konga on the face of it? It looks like shit.
We were 12. I went back to it actually a couple of years ago, and like, yeah, I mean, Brandon's not wrong. It's like very simple, but also I was like, oh, that was a neat little thing that happened, and then like I put it away again. I have no.
Yeah,
I
which is
felt
why
no
it's so
heart.
low on the list.
Yes.
But, it's right where it should be. Just like Metroid Other M.
In my heart, I have a friend who had a Metroid Other M poster on their wall above where he and his husband sleep. He DM'd me yesterday replaying it saying, man, this aged like garbage. Like, even people that are fans of it are coming back to it being like, uh-oh, this is not as good as I
I thought you
remember
were
it
going to
being.
go in a completely different direction. It's like he had a poster of Metroid Other M, and now he's no longer my friend. He is dead.
No,
That's
he's a good man.
I genuinely feel like Other M is more disgusting to its franchise than
wait,
Paper Mario
wait,
Sticker
wait,
Star
wait.
is.
Again,
I
But hold on.
complaint.
But
You always try to make
hold
an
on.
argument against the game, but
You
it
don't-
always
but-
centers around how it disappointed you because it's not the best game.
Maybe I don't get to finish my point because I get interrupted. But that said, it should be where it is because as a gameplay experience, it is better than Knack and Blink's Time Sweeper and Paper Mario Sticker
wait.
Star. Which is why I would not put it below Sticker Star, even though I think it's more disgusting to Metroid than Sticker Star is disgusting to Paper Mario. But as a gameplay experience, it's extremely shallow, the controls are bad, and it's really, it's just not fun to play. It's not fun to play.
No, do you have any?
And also, it fucking destroyed Samus's
no,
character.
Do you have any retort? Because I kind of cut you off before you could actually make any points whatsoever.
No, go on.
Okay. I mean, there's not much else to say. I think there is quite a strong consensus here.
I feel like we should give him back his choice.
I don't like the argument of destroying Samus's character, since for me, Samus was always a shit character anyway in terms of character.
No,
she had no
no.
character. It was just be whatever you want her to be. I agree that they gave her a shitty character. They made her into a shitty character. I agree with that. I don't think they destroyed anything because there was nothing to destroy in the first place. They just absolutely made her.
I feel like that's reasonable.
Just to clarify, wait,
Okay, then I'll reword it
They
to
didn't
say...
destroy shit.
But
That's
okay,
like fucking...
I will reword it to say, okay, they wrote Samus extremely shittily, and it's a really bad story.
Also,
Happy? Is that better?
drop in a couple lines in regards to that, because Mozzie made an actual really good point earlier on as well, where it's like, they actually did give her characters in, like, the manners, and there have been other media where they had presented Samus as, like, this badass bounty hunter.
Bro. If it's not in the game, I don't give a fuck.
My thing about it is that even the problem is that if you're just even removing the destroyed character part of it, like Brand, like Moose was willing to say, if the story is just bad, that's just a knock against the game having a really bad story in a game that is very cutscene focused. It's like hours
I'm
of
saying
it.
I agree
What?
with it.
No, Metroid was always about the exploration. What the fuck are you?
But I'm saying Other M has 2.5 hours of
Other M is
cutscenes.
extremely cutscene heavy.
It comes with
And-
with a cutscene viewer mode that's 2.5 hours from beginning to end.
Which, so that's 2.5 hours where I'm suffering.
scrolling in history.
And that's removing the Samus part of it. It's just not a
I
good
feel
story.
like, first of all, 2.5 hours my ass because you didn't.
Metroid Prime has less. Metroid Prime has less.
I will pull out my save file,
Metroid Prime
motherfucker.
has less story
I have
than.
serious doubts.
You
I'm
did
hitting
not-
that- I'm
Madeline
hitting that X
Bergman.
button.
Also, Mother Brain was cool, and they made her into a blonde lady, which is lame.
They did what?
Yeah.
Just
Mother Brain becomes a lady, and her name is Madeline Bergman, which is MB for Mother Brain.
Oh,
They're on the
man.
bottle ship
I heard
because
the
the baby. Bottle
I
And
heard
ship.
Metroid Mother M is just an anagram for mom. And Other M
Yeah,
is just mother.
I knew that one.
So
I know. That's pretty bad.
yeah. Well, the game, the actual story is absolute hog. Fucking the most. Every single kind of animal shit mixed together in just one big old pile of animal shit. But
Jesus, I feel like Noah has no defenders here.
I'm sorry, Noah.
I don't because I'm not gonna.
the game itself, though, isn't as bad as everybody says.
That's
in my
exactly what I'm
opinion.
trying to say. But
But
everybody's
it's
just
also
shits on
not
it.
that good at the same time.
I'm
But
not saying it's amazing. I'm saying it's decent.
yeah, and I get what he's saying, and that's why I think it should go above Donkey Kong.
Okay, let's go one by one. So I think it should be where it is. Will, where would you put it?
I'll put it basically where it is.
Saf, where would you put it?
Yeah. Sorry.
Brandon, you would put it above Donkey Konga, right?
Yes.
Ills, where would you put it?
I never finished it or played it. I mean, I played it for like 10 seconds and then I stopped.
Based off our yelling, where would you put it?
I don't know, man.
Hills,
Above
please
Donkey
don't
Kong,
harm
I
your
guess.
character.
Noah, where would you put it?
Above, obviously.
Yeah.
That's
So it's 3-3, but we decided the show before the show started that Ills' vote in case of ties
doesn't count.
does not count. So it's Metroid Other M stays where it is. Now
Wait, I
before
thought we said that we counted more.
Yeah. No,
no.
No.
less because I wasn't here for most of it. I don't feel like I should have an equal vote.
Now, does anyone feel it should be lower?
No.
Noah had enough.
Can we give Noah back his choice? What the fuck?
It's a,
This is the way the game works,
this.
bro.
I mean, I feel bad. I feel
Yeah, I feel
bad.
bad as well. Yeah.
I also feel.
You know what?
I don't
need your pay.
The next episode, you should give him a second choice.
Well, that will be discussed at a later point in time.
Right.
If the fans demand it.
However,
I don't want your fucking pity.
No.
Jesus, you
Fuck off with
just
that
shoot
shit.
yourself in the foot.
no, that's a very me move, Noah, and I respect it.
As you wish.
Very bold move. Very bold
All
move.
right,
by
we have
Noah.
reached our
You
final
keep with
man.
your shitty opinions to
That's
yourself.
you know what?
fine.
That's as noble as me shooting Danganronpa in the face.
Where was my
There's a lot of
pick?
nobility
Why
going on
did it
here.
get so low?
No one.
Well, fuck you. Now you're trying to beg for it. Fuck you.
Yeah. All right.
The secret
Ills.
is just never get a thing high on the list. And you
All right, so I mean, since everybody's being so honorable, I'm gonna do the honorable thing and take Phoenix Wright and put it below Danganronpa.
Oh,
my man.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do.
Ill, thank you. Oh man.
I mean, all agree,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, does it go lower than Danganronpa?
I mean,
where's the animal crossing?
I wish I could choose both Phoenix Wright and Ghost Trick and fucking move them both, but I can't. So Phoenix Wright.
I was getting away like a thief.
I would put. I see. The thing is, I would put Phoenix right right above Danganronpa.
We've had this argument.
But we've had this argument, and I already lost it. So I'm willing to put it below Danganronpa. But I mean, well, this is the re-rank.
Let's
so this
see, now that we have
is our
Ills
chance.
here, Ills,
Yeah.
where do you think should be above Danganronpa? or
I didn't
below?
play Danganronpa. I have no idea. All I know is I wanted to honor Brandon's sacrifice.
Which is fair.
What a good guy.
we should have
I
it on
don't
the
know.
podcast.
We said this before, but
I'm busy
they're
on Friday.
very equal games, right?
Yeah.
But it all comes down to personal preference. Let's be honest. We all know where we stand on here. Let's just take a quick vote. Let's start with Ill, since this is his game.
Below.
Yeah.
Below Danganronpa.
All right. Below Danganronpa. All right, Brandon.
Below Danganronpa.
Below Danganronpa. Okay.
Above.
Saf. Above Danganronpa.
Uh-oh.
Will.
Below.
Below. We have 3 belows. Noah.
Above.
Above.
Oh, shit.
I am also on the side of above.
Yeah, I did the math on that one.
There you go.
Who was missing that week?
I tried, Brandon. I tried.
Who?
Wow.
I
What a
was
bunch of assholes.
What a bunch of scumbags.
So, it's decided then, right? It is above,
above
What a bunch of
Danganronpa.
assholes. You don't even take into the fact that Danganronpa has way better fucking gameplay
It's true.
in a game, and honestly tells a slightly better story than the.
I don't think it tells a better
Phoenix Wright.
story. I hard disagree.
From
on
beginning
that.
to end, it does, but it's fine.
It does. It definitely does.
But
Especially the first Phoenix Wright. I always said there was a million cases to be made for the other ones, but the first one,
I think the
Kinda
first one
not.
tells a fantastic self-contained story.
sure,
Don't
but
worry.
not better than Danganronpa.
In the last
I'm sure
hour.
I'm going to regret this, and then I'm just going to put that Phoenix Wright lower than Danganronpa.
Okay,
In 30
so-
weeks, Saf? Do you want to reassess that before we have to
Yeah,
wait
I mean,
a year?
Come on.
All right.
Okay. This is your last chance, guys. Does anyone
No,
want to
I'm good.
move it?
I do.
But no, anyone want to change their vote? Sorry. Does anyone want to change their
I'm
vote?
good.
All right.
I mean, are we allowed to shoot
Oh,
our
sure.
cases at
Put
this
them in.
point?
Yeah, of course.
Because I still think Danganronpa tells such a good story that, like, and Danganronpa tells a story that, like, it has a better twist. It has a better overall, like, I think Muzzy argued against me, but I still think that it definitely, the whole overall story, has a bigger meaning towards, its sequels, and also just as a standalone story, has a bigger twist and a shock value than anything in the first Phoenix Wright game does. And I don't know, it seems more tense. I cared more about a lot of the characters than I did in Phoenix Wright. Like, they're all cool. Like, I hate saying it because it's like I don't want to sound like I'm not liking any of the characters in Phoenix Wright, because I do. I love a lot of them, but I also just felt more attached to the characters in Danganronpa, and when they died, I cared a lot more than the people who did die in Phoenix Wright.
Well, that's the thing. You don't really get to know the victims apart
Yeah,
from
We
Phoenix
don't,
Wright
and that's
is-
why I think Danganronpa tells a better story, because you get to know these people.
But Phoenix
and they
Wright
die,
had
and
a
you actually
message
care.
on its
Yeah,
own.
but then also, like, the pacing of the game itself is a little slow.
Can-
They
I
both
would
have
say-
kind of slow pacing.
I would
problems.
say that 3 of the 5 cases in Phoenix Wright are 2 of the 5, 40% of the cases are not good. The first case with Larry Butts, let's be honest, is a tutorial. That's not great. The one with the TV show is not that great. Like, they're fine.
But I disagree. I
and also,
enjoyed them a lot.
Danganronpa,
Like,
no,
even
not Danganronpa. Phoenix
They
Wright
have-
had its own tale to tell. Like, it had its own theme in regards to what it wanted to say with its game, where they were criticizing the Jap.
What?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Danganronpa
No.
didn't? What the
Phoenix
fuck?
Wright had its
I don't-
whole idea of, like, they wanted to criticize the Japanese justice system. That's why this whole entire game was set up.
That only comes in the 3rd game.
Didn't that start off in the first one?
That only comes later on. No.
No.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
I'm
does.
serious.
No.
For the last case.
That's on the original game that got added in the
not
DS
even-
remake.
But we're talking about the DS.
Oh, we're talking about the
remake,
DS
bitch.
one? Okay. But anyway, but even then, it's not, it's not, because it has to do with the cops, not with the court system, so it's also, like, separate.
No, but
No, I'm
even
saying the
then,
justice
like,
system as
I
a whole.
mean,
Even then, Danganronpa paints a whole picture of society.
I think Danganronpa's ending is bullshit. Like, I'm just gonna say it. I think it's bullshit.
Wow,
and I
hard
think-
fucking disagree.
I think, and you can. Oh God!
Jesus. Like a
Oh my god,
Danganronpa.
don't get.
I think the world is ending.
His fury is unleashed.
Good.
You know I can't edit that out.
No, help.
The most tragic, terrible thing to happen to human history just happened, and it's bullshit. So
Noah just died, and we have to solve the murder.
That wasn't me.
It was me.
Oh, it was Moose? Moose just died. We have to solve the murder.
He died because he had shit opinions.
You know, I want that on my grave. But
Died because he had
Solving his murder is a criticism.
I want that on my grave. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Has Noah Saf? it comes. I'm very hard in my opinion that it should be above it.
Wait, just
do
to
you guys
clarify,
feel
when you say the
anything?
ending was bullshit, you just mean the fucking. You just mean like the whole revelation of like, oh, this is what happened to the world, and not the actual ending with Junko.
I mean,
What the fuck?
Okay, apparently we're just spoiling things.
You know
Jesus
what?
Christ!
I really don't like Masamune's attempt to hijack my choice to put it above some other game.
Yeah, it's true. True.
But
He's a nasty
I don't
man.
like it either.
He's a
Ills.
nasty man.
I don't like it either. It feels really.
I think we should
really-
reward Ill's kindness by putting it
nasty.
below Danganronpa.
oh my god,
You know what?
ignoring me out of the equation.
Creator's intent comes into play
He's
here.
being a bully.
Creator's intent, Ill's meant for this to be below it.
But we haven't, like, I'm letting you guys have all your points in. Noah, Saf, have you changed your minds?
No. I mean, yeah, no. Like, I felt more for Miles Edgeworth and Phoenix's story than I did with Danganronpa, which is kind of weird, but I guess because that's a lot about the crazy character. Yeah.
Okay, this is only a Will complaint, but I want to get it out there. I actually don't like the last case in the DS version. I think that the Manfred von Karma is the end, and you did it. That's the beginning of
Oh
the
yeah,
end.
that last
The fact
case in
that-
the DS version sucks ass.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah, it's like, and it's like you just keep going, and you're like, I don't like that. You had the ending there.
Mhm.
Yeah. And also, Edgeworth himself, his story doesn't really develop as much as it does in later games. Like, take Edgeworth from Phoenix Wright 1, and it's like, people think he's cool, but I don't think people care about him as much as in later games when he gets a real
I mean, he
story.
does go through his own personal story and arc throughout that first game.
But I mean, it's mostly just the end, though. It's
No,
when
it's
Manfred
been-
von
it's
Karma
been ongoing.
betrays him to that.
Like, from case 2 onward.
When does it happen in Turnabout Sisters or in the one where Will Powers is
when-
the defendant?
Edgeworth actually jumps in and actually gives Phoenix a second save. He gets a realization.
How the fuck do you remember that?
It's a
Yeah, that's actually a big part of case 3 is when Edgeworth, like, pushes things your way because
Yeah.
he realizes, oh shit, that's the right thing to do.
I forgot.
I feel like there's so many things that I could say about Danganronpa.
I mean, I'm purposely not saying anything positive about Phoenix Wright because just to let you guys have your thing.
You're a hero. We all
Well,
are
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, you're a real fucking hero. You know, I do the right thing, and then you be an asshole. You're a real fucking hero.
Larry Butts.
Alright, I'm gonna do the right thing. Put it below Danganronpa.
Oh my god, someone with a conscience.
That was just to spite me. That was just a spite.
No, you can't.
Well,
have my
bullshit.
side.
You should have gone after him that
Chicken's
badly.
coming home to roost,
Like,
baby.
if you weren't going to say it for any
shit.
other reason, I'll be okay with it. But come on, man, don't do it by spite. Okay.
No, I'm not doing it despite. It is the right thing. Like, he did move it down just to move them both down, so I'm gonna follow suit.
No, yeah, but you don't think Danganronpa is a better game though? You're doing it because of bullshit reasons. Like,
Oh, am I doing it for bullshit?
See, you keep saying it's by spite, and then you say shit like this. That makes you kind of go suspect.
you're like,
because
this
he's
is-
I
me
think
to say things like that.
He's not the one who
established
moved
that
it.
these games are very
I'm
similar.
not the one that moved it. I'm the one agreeing to moving it.
You're agreeing to move it below Danganronpa because you hate me. Like, this isn't right.
I mean, it's not
he
like
never said that.
Ills'
Those words
decision,
never came
because
out of his
Brandon
mouth.
wanted to move both
But
of those games down,
Noah.
and then Ills complied and felt, okay, let's do
But
that.
Noah,
I was like, okay.
which game do you think is better? You've played both
But
these
this
games.
is not
Which game
such
do you
a
think is better?
disconnected.
whatever.
I mean, we're
Oh,
already
no,
tied.
Danganronpa.
No,
it's like
which
fucking
game
1
do you
o'clock.
think
Put
is
it below Danganronpa?
No,
damn it.
I want to know the answer, Noah. Which game do you actually think is better?
That's really hard. I have to really think about
Why
it.
would you waste my time like this? God damn it.
Because if we're gonna end on spite, I will not be happy.
We're not ending on spite, though.
Yeah, he never.
I
said
need
that.
an actual reason of why you believe Danganronpa should be above it. Because clearly you thought it shouldn't be. You clearly thought Ace Attorney was
I-
above.
Well, maybe
Yes.
he listened to my arguments. You
How
ever
come you
think
never
about
listen to
that?
my arguments? What the fuck?
Maybe he did.
Maybe he realized
Actually,
that the
don't
DS
think that was
version
the
has a
problem.
shit last story.
Yeah.
And the fact that you
That I
chose the
don't
DS
agree
version
with,
was a
I mean, it's a
mistake.
bonus story. So what?
It's shit.
It's presented the same as all the other cases.
Yeah, I actually thought it was part of that original game when I played it because I had no idea. And when I played through it, I was like dying inside because I didn't want to fucking play this anymore.
I'll
The fucking conflict ended on that fourth case, and then you had this severe drop off, and I was like, why am I doing this to myself?
I mean, I agree with you, but I wouldn't agree with
That's
you
not
in the
that
extent
bad.
of how bad it is.
It's not as good
No,
as the
you're right.
I mean,
You're right.
it's not building
You're
up
right,
to
it's
anything
not as good as
anymore.
Content. You're totally right that you do lose interest, but I wouldn't say it was that much of a detriment that I would put it below Danganronpa.
Say what you will about Danganronpa, they don't do another killing game right after you solve the first one.
What?
True.
The game ends when it's supposed to.
right.
They don't just the game ends where it's supposed to end.
Danganronpa is a great game. However, they don't explain anything at the end. The characters that are left alive are shit. Like, I'm sorry, they are.
That's-
Like, okay, the
That
survivors...
can be argued, and I disagree with that. We already went over
The
this.
survivors are not good characters. Like,
So fucking disagree with that.
Also, I don't see how that factors in.
They're so one note and pointless. Like, why are they there? They add nothing to anything.
I just still disagree with
and
that.
like the whole thing, and we can clearly see now in hindsight that no, they didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. But you could even tell when you were playing the first game that they built up the worst tragedy to ever happen in human history. They didn't explain any of it though. You're kind of left like, huh, what? Like I don't really know what just happened because you don't. And later down the line, you realize, no, actually, yeah, it's not because they had something planned. It's because they just didn't. It was just a bunch of bullshit.
Alright.
It's what it was.
No,
Boys, this
saying
was
the
supposed to be
story
a
is
short, sweet one. I was trying to lob a softball in.
Ills, this is the
Everybody wants
longest
to
that we
fucking
went with an
rage about
original
one
argument.
position. It's just one position, guys. Over or
I
above.
know, and
wait.
We did this for 40 minutes the
Wait,
first
no.
time we compare these two.
No,
games.
no. Did you actually find the reason? Can I go to bed now?
Why does he have
Because
to
that's the
explain
only way
himself?
most people will be satisfied.
I just want-
Like I fucking said what I wanted to do. Like
Because I'm not satisfied with the way this is going down. Because it is actual bullshit.
Well, you don't have to be satisfied because
You know what's actual bullshit? We already made the decision that this game's better than
No,
this.
we made the decision. We made the decision that it was better, and then we let you explain yourself,
Listen.
and then Noah decides, oh, it's not because it is a point,
Oh, boy.
but it's because
No,
oh, it's
no one
the right-
decided that
it's
before
the
you
right
even
to
let me
go.
explain myself. I'll kill you.
Listen.
Like the way this is
Oh my
gone
God,
down is
dude.
not right.
Fuck. I haven't even played Danganronpa. This is where I'm putting it. That's it. He doesn't need another reason.
But the fact that he gave a reason and it was wrong.
It doesn't matter.
It ruined the integrity of
Oh
the
my
list,
God,
is what it
Ian,
is.
Dick
what
with
was
your
what was
integrity.
wrong about my decision?
done.
Again? What?
Because
When hey,
Because
explain
I'm
to me
following
this.
suit
Riddle
with
me
other
this,
people.
motherfucker. When you fucking said, hey, let's take a vote, had any of us made a point at that point? The answer is no.
Because
I made a
we
point,
just relitigated
and then
the
Noah
exact
changed
points
his
we
mind.
made. No.
What?
What?
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
There was.
Oh my God.
There was
I
an
wanna
argument
leave.
made. There was an argument made, and Noah changed his mind based on the arguments made.
No, he didn't. He literally said why he changed his mind. He said it was because
Yeah,
it
that
was
was
the
one of the
core
arguments
right
that
thing
was
to
made.
do. Like that.
What?
Oh.
Alright, no,
Ills doing the right thing was part of the argument. He was doing it for Ills, not for you, Muzamil. He was doing it for Ills.
Fucking, do you still want to keep it below fucking Danganronpa?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Just leave it like that.
Yes.
There we go.
All right.
All right.
Whatever.
Sealed it in.
We
Done
locked
with the
it.
list.
Such a lovely
Goodbye.
conversation. Good job,
The
guys.
list is over
gonna
at
quit the
number
game.
50.
That was
Done.
it. An hour and 24 minutes of podcasting.
Muzzy, I won't kill you, by the way.
I might.
I might kill myself.
But, that was the podcast for this week. We want to thank you all for listening. A lot has happened. Things are different now, is the way I would phrase it.
I think we're all a little different now.
Yeah, I mean, not just the ranking on the list, but I think the way the list will function moving forward has been changed. Something has been awoken. But that's for next week. We want to thank you all for joining us.
I can't wait for the Raw after Rankamania.
Oh, boy.
When we introduce 5
Well,
new
that'll
games.
be Game Club.
Oh,
We'll get to yell about a certain game coming up.
and guess what will be coming on the Game Club? God Hand, a game that emotions were high when people were playing it. I can confirm that.
Oh yeah.
Emotions might be high when we record that podcast, so keep an ear out for it this Thursday. But along the way, before then, you can catch us on twitch.tv/jumpupsupercast. So the .tv this week, where we stream at least 2 times a week. We try to. Not always, but you'll be able to know when we are through our Twitter account, twitter.com/jumpupsupercast. That is the plugs for this week. That is the podcast for this week. The re-ranking episode went exactly as some of us thought it would, and sometimes even bigger than we thought it would. But we want to thank you all for joining us on this wild ride. And illz, in this podcast, we have a final phrase, just a last thing that will be the thing that everyone will hear when they finish this podcast. And as the special re-ranking guest, would you do us the honor of offering the last statement?
Sure. I did it for Brandon.